So today I want to talk about getting honest. What it really means when you're an emerging creator to really be real about where you're at in your channel's trajectory and celebrate it and own it and claim it and not pretend to be anything other than that. My name is Darius. I have been a filmmaker for the last 20 years and now I'm on a journey transitioning into becoming a YouTube creator and coach for aspiring creators to support them in finding their voice and connecting with who they are and what they have to express beyond just the niche that they service. And this comes from my wealth of experience, predominantly in documentary, working with hundreds of different talent over the years to support and expand their capacity to communicate and express their story on screen. And, you know, the honesty here is I'm taking a leap of faith to now become a creator, to put myself in the hot seat here in front of the camera, something I've vehemently avoided doing for the majority of my career. And yeah, the honesty is that this is actually a really true way for me to serve the world and to serve you as my audience to take this position and speak from this place. And so, yeah, I'm early on in this journey of my channel's growth here. And, you know, the honesty for me is, you know, low numbers. It's scary. I'm watching the limited analytic data that comes through my channel and it's like, oh, wow, this is confronting. I hoped I might be one of those breakaway successes on my first video and off to the races. And it's not what's happening. And I'm trusting the slow measured growth that so many of the creators that I'm learning from and so many of the different programs that I've studied speak to the wisdom of building a channel through doing reps. And so my rep game is strong, you know, releasing 3 videos a week currently and, allowing myself the reality of things getting in the way that sometimes don't make that as easy as I'd hoped. This week I was sick, so I had to take a little pause, and now this is me getting back into action. So missed a couple of blocks in my cycle, and now I'm back in the game. And so that's just me shooting from the hip, being honest about where I'm at today. But I think what I wanted to speak to as an emerging creator is some of the things that I both have experienced myself, but also witness in other creators sharing, and also from those seasoned creators talking to what really matters about staying true to what's happening for you. And so I think one of the key things to unpack in this episode is accepting the fact that at this point in your journey early on, when the success isn't here and the metrics are not like burning the house down, it's a real opportunity to accept and embrace that this is the moment to iterate, to practice, and to do the hard yards of working to improve your capacity to communicate to an audience. And I think one of the main things for me, particularly in the format that I'm pursuing here of these one-take videos, is to just really allow myself to get comfortable in my own skin, in my own voice, communicating with you, trusting that I know what I have to share, that, you know, I've done my work, preparing the episode, writing the hook, having the titles ready, and then I communicate from the heart, knowing that this purpose that is in me to share the wisdom that I have and to share my research with you is accessible to me. And so I'm not, you know, there was a while, a few weeks back where I really felt the contraction when I would get on camera, and it's the I don't know. And yeah, I'm trusting myself that I do know, and that I can communicate what it is that my wisdom has to share with you in a way that is of service and use to you on your journey. And so other aspects of things that I think is really important to get honest about at this point in your, well, I don't want to say in your, because we're all in different places, but in the early phases of a channel's growth, of a creator's process to becoming seen, to becoming known, is to think about how you might like to be perceived down the line, without trying to create some sort of like, what's the word? Like a false presence. It's like you're believing in your future potential, and it's like you're channeling what you believe you can serve and give to the world. And so by doing that, it's like, even in this moment where you might be a little bit less than delighted with where you're at with your views, with your engagement, with all the analytic aspects of your channel, you can still hold the seed of what it is that you aspire to achieve in building that relationship. And it's not necessarily about big numbers, but it might just be about like how you could serve that one single person. And with that knowledge and wisdom, you can cultivate a sense of real connection with your ability to communicate your message to the audience. And yeah, so another key aspect of what I wanted to unpack in this episode is allowing yourself to be where you're at with your style, your approach. You know, it may be that you don't have the best kit, you might not have the best lighting set up, you may want a new camera, all these things that become sort of aspirational distractions, I might say, in the sense that, yeah, like, of course, it's nice to have a good setup. You know, I have the luxury of having equipment that served my documentary practice on hand and readily disposable. So I'm able to light a room and use a nice camera and microphone, that all these things that I had. But allowing those aspects to be a block to you connecting with your audience in the best way you have within the availability of your resources, your means, that's a disservice to your purpose. Work with what you have and celebrate it, own it. I know for me, I might have all the equipment trappings to make a nice video, but as I was mentioning before, like, I still really feel this sense of like wanting to pierce through some part of me that is struggling to really allow myself to be here fully for you. And I think actually the work for me is just to accept that this is still quite challenging for me in many ways, because I'm pivoting to this in front of screen presence, and I'm actually just going to allow myself to have that experience of feeling that fear, feeling those concerns, and not like try and change it. And so that's my kind of little goal that I'm trying to work to cut through to be able to be more who I honestly am in this moment, and share that with you as my audience. And I think for me, like, when I look back on my career as a filmmaker, a lot of the time when I have pretended to be something that I'm not, or avoided a difficult conversation to try and position myself in a place of pride rather than just allowing myself to be who I am, it really has not flowed in the same way if I just have that vulnerable conversation and say, hey, you know what, right now I actually don't know how to use that bit of technology to support me to get to the next step of this shoot we're on. And then, maybe I ignored that part of me that wanted to just ask for some help and support. And instead that created more problems down the track when, things got out of control because I wasn't able to just say, hey, I don't know how to do this. So yeah, from my lived experience of like being a bit prideful on set at times when I didn't want to seem to be, I would be in a position of leadership and I would be afraid to not look like I knew my piece, particularly on bigger productions when there's lots of moving parts. That let me down, particularly in my early years when I had less confidence to just be honest and ask for help. So yeah, on that note, I would love to hear from you guys. What are the aspects? Where can you get really honest about where you're at, and how could I support you in growing your understanding capacity to move to the next step of your creator journey? So please do leave me a comment in the comments below, and if you would like, please subscribe and tell all your friends about how rad this channel is. No, I'm kidding, but yeah, every little bit of support helps, and thank you for watching.